Hi, hello everyone who is joining us live today for our live session of the power of teacher investment. So please let me know if you are already seeing me and hearing me well and where you are joining me from today. It will be very nice to know it. And I'm going to introduce the topic to you. So, the power of teacher investment. I'm very passionate about this topic for several reasons. And it's because me, myself, as a teacher, that I was, when I invested in myself, my teaching career has improved massively. And we are going to discuss what kind of investments I have in mind, and I'm curious about your experience with investing in yourself as a teacher and how this can actually really, really improve your teaching career. Oh wow, Simone is joining us. This is so good to see, Simone. I haven't seen you for some time in these live sessions, and I've missed you. So Simone from Texas is joining, and the question for Simone and everybody else who hasn't said hi just yet: when was the last time you invested in yourself as a teacher, and how it affected your teaching career? And when I say invested in yourself, so there are different types of investment. We can invest in our self care and well being by booking a holiday, by buying something we really love, by booking a massage, by going on a trip, going to a restaurant, or whatever helps us feel better in terms of our well being. Investment, it can mean invest in a course that helps you improve your teaching skills, or it can be investment in a coach that helps you develop certain skills you want to develop, or it can be even investment in your mindset that you have as a teacher. And I just give you a few examples. So, what kind of investment you made like recently, and how it made you feel? This investment you made in yourself. Um, it can be the recent one, or it can be one of those investments you've made as a teacher, and how it affected your teaching career. I would like to mention my investments I made as a teacher and how it impacted my teaching career. So, a long time ago, I invested in my CELTA qualification. So, this is where I learned how to teach even better, how to have my teaching even more effective, my instructions even clearer. And I was experimenting with different teaching styles as well after I got this qualification. So, it really helped me become a more qualified and effective teacher in the classroom. I'm going to continue with other investments I made and how they helped me, but I'm going to read Simone's right now. So, believe it or not, I just started a new course at the local community college learning the basics of web design. I want to know how to manage my website for myself instead of relying on freelancer. Wow, Simone, I didn't know about this investment. So this is a very good investment because exactly as you said, like if you know it yourself, and especially if you are kind of not passionate about it, but if you liked it our area, for example, I wouldn't enjoy it myself. I would rather delegate it to somebody else. But if that's something you think you would enjoy to some extent, it's a brilliant investment. It's a brilliant investment. And yes, you see, perfect timing for this session to share this, Simone. So, how many maybe sessions you've had already, or how do you feel so far? Have you learned already something that you implemented straight away? It would be nice to know that. And everybody else, if you can just mention where you're joining us from and what kind of investment you made recently that helped you improve your teaching career, and like how it helped you improve your teaching career and your impact on your students. So I mentioned the one about CELTA when I did my CELTA, and I felt a better teacher after that. Of course, I had to implement a lot of things, but it massively helped me with my teaching. Now, then the second one I made was when I invested in a course, in a program. It was called 21 Day Challenge, that helped me improve or even kind of develop my entrepreneurial skills, because I already knew at that time that I would love to have my own teaching business, and I would love to have my own students that I pick by myself, that I create a curriculum for by myself, and that I just guide the way I want to guide them. And that's when I invested in my in this program that helped me improve my entrepreneurial skills. And then I was able to choose my own students, like to define my new niche, the group of students I wanted to teach only. And at that time it was psychologists who were um, who wanted to improve their communication skills in English so that they could communicate with their patients and clients in their therapy sessions. And I already learned not just how to define them, but how to find them on social media and how to learn about their challenges. So, how to do research about my new students that I wanted to work with. And then later, how to put the offer together. So, how to put the curriculum, the program together, how to design the program, and then teach it to them at a triple rate to start with. And so, I invested in this course, and not always we see the money back. So so return on investment is not always seen straight away when we invest. Most of the time we don't see it straight away. But in my situation, when I invest in this program, I tripled my hourly rate. So from £12.50, which was about $15 if we speak in dollars, to $50 per hour. And I invested in my skills. I learned about my new students, which were psychologists, and then I tripled my hourly rate. So I saw kind of the return on my investment. Saying that is not very likely we always see the return on investment straight away and in this kind of like multiplied way. And maybe that's why sometimes we have this hesitation not to invest because we don't see this return on investment straight away. Catherine is saying, I recently joined the 21-day challenge. It is currently helping with structuring my approach to teaching business. Before that, I bought some books I wanted to read for myself to be a better interlocutor. Yes, Catherine. So I'm so happy you're in the 21-day challenge. Very happy. So I did the 21-day challenge 5 years ago, and it massively helped me. So it's different types of courses and programs we invest in that bring us return on investment. And one thing I wanted to mention here is that very often teachers are reluctant, and I was that teacher myself, so I'm speaking about myself, to be honest, that I was relying on a lot of free stuff. So I wanted free help, free stuff, free YouTube videos, free electronic books, free, I don't know, posts, free articles, everything I could get for free to improve my skills. And I'm not saying I didn't improve, I did improve, but I didn't improve as much or as fast as I wanted in that particular area. And the reason for that was because if we want to improve in something and grow in some area, it's not just the insight, it's the muscle we have to build, the mental muscle, whatever muscle, to learn the skill and to implement it. And very often these free resources give us just the insight, let's say this 20%, but nobody holds us accountable. There is not a structure in there, and there is not a certain particular specific time we devote our time to developing that skill. So that's why the return on investment is not very high if we invest in free stuff only. And let me know if you agree with me, please. Julie is saying, hi everyone, joining from Vancouver. My most recent investment was completing my DED. Wow. Julie, so how does it feel now? And what are the benefits of this? What are the benefits and how it has improved maybe your performance, your well-being, your relationship with your students, and even with your friends and family? So how did it help you? And how does it feel? I would be curious to know that, Julie. Simone is saying, I just started, but I'm interested in learning a bit about coding. Of course, the years I've been working with you and Dreams have brought me to the point where a website is appropriate. 6 years. Yes, so what Simone is saying, and that's a very good point about the investment. Sometimes it's very good to know when to invest in what. And I can tell you myself, I hope to say I was, but maybe still I am to some extent, a binge learner. I love learning at a high speed. I try to triple and quadruple the speed at how fast I want to learn different things. And at some point, I ended up working with 6 coaches. And I don't recommend it to anyone. I mean, it's good, but then it's overdoing it, and then the investment is not as effective. Okay, so it's important to know when to invest as well. And Simone is mentioning the website. So what we say usually when teachers start their teaching businesses is that please don't invest in a website. Like, don't put your money in a website as the first thing. You should be able to know what students you want to teach. You should know where to find them. You should know what kind of program and course you should prepare for them. You should know how to sell this program to them, and then how to help them with that program. If you're confident about this, if you get your proof of concept, which means you're confident, I already had enough students from the same niche, so the same group of students, and they went through the same program. Now I can scale it up. I can be even more visible. I can have a website. I can go another platform. So Simone, yes, it's a good time to invest into a website. I'm happy you've made this investment. So yes, sometimes it's important as well to know when to invest. So when you invest in something at the wrong time, I don't know what is the wrong time, but the wrong time when you don't really feel you even want to work on that skill, or so that's one thing, like you're not even passionate about that right now, and you just feel like, oh, I should work on it because I've been doing it for a long time, I should now do that. So that's not the right time usually. Or if you are maybe having too many other things you focus on. So when we are trying to learn a new skill, our brain can focus on one or two new habits or skills at a time. And I know that, but still, me myself, I work with 6 coaches at the same time, of course, on different skills. It was mindset, it was business skills, psychology, and things, but still, our brain can feel overwhelmed. Or then we know we work with different people, but there is as much as I can implement from each coach. So I can't go maybe in much detail, because I wanted to mention these 4 stages of competence when we learn a new skill. So when we invest in something to learn something new, there are these 4 stages. So the very first one is I don't even know what I don't know. So I don't know nothing about, like, I know nothing about this skill and I'm not even aware I should be improving in this area. Okay. So that's the first stage. It's called unconscious incompetence. The second one is conscious incompetence when I already know that this is the area I potentially want to improve in, and I should, maybe I want to, but I still didn't start doing it consistently. I'm not focusing on it, but I know it's the time maybe where I should. Then the third stage is conscious competence when I'm consciously focusing on that skill and giving my all heart into it, and this is where my attention goes. This is how I'm improving this skill. That's the third stage. And that takes some time to get to the fourth stage, which is uh, unconscious competence, which means I don't even know how I'm doing it, but I'm just natural at it. So imagine now, Simone, you will be coding, okay? You will be coding naturally. You will just improving your website by yourself, and you will feel natural at it. So that will be the fourth stage when we get to that stage. And sometimes when we have to focus on too many things in this third stage, when we are focusing on it, it's too much for our brain. So then our brain may think like, okay, this is not working. This was not a good investment. But it's just because it was not either the right time or you had too many things on your plate, and then your brain, poor brain, can't do much more, right, than just focus on one or two things at a time, in a way. Okay, let me know if you agree with me. If you don't agree, I'm happy to be challenged here. um, yes, so it's good to hear that more people are joining us here. And Joanne is saying, I invested in a TESOL diploma program that jump-started my online teaching. The pronunciation part of the course was the most useful for me in helping my students. Since then, I have continued to invest in personal development and marketing. Lifelong learning is key for me. I love that, Joanne. Yes. And I think most of the teachers are actually lifelong learners. I believe that, right? And we kind of like need to be, if we want to inspire our students to learn and to constantly develop, we need to start from ourselves. So, so I'm very happy to hear this, Joanne. Thank you. Katrin is saying, investing makes me feel like I'm moving forward or at least trying, growing. Exactly, Katrin. So for me as well, so what are other benefits of investment? If you can just mention in the chat from how you perceive it. For me, when I invest in myself, I love growing. Exactly. I love using my potential as much as I can. That's one thing. Usually, when I invest in myself and I'm learning something I'm passionate about and I'm growing in that skill, I am more inspiring for my students. So then I can inspire them in a more attractive way, how they can invest in themselves, how they can grow themselves and develop themselves, because I'm doing it myself. So yes, that's another benefit of investment. And yes, and Catherine is saying as well, for me, it's about long-term vision. Yes, exactly. So that's very important to have in mind, because sometimes when we don't have this long-term vision, we don't even know how this investment we are making right now is going to help us like long term. Then usually when we invest in something and we learn something new, it's painful. Even like dancing salsa was painful for me when I was learning it. I mean, the final benefit of it, when I was able to go to social dancing after 6 months and just spontaneously dance with different people there, it was like blissful experience. But when I was learning salsa, which was supposed to be a pleasant dance, a beautiful dance, I was in pain. And why I was in pain? Because I had to focus on every single step. I just couldn't separate my upper body with the lower body, because I just didn't know how to move them, in a kind of separate way. So it was painful. And imagine you are learning something which is painful and you don't even see the final, or at least the feeling of the final outcome of it. Sometimes we can't like specifically imagine exactly what it will look like, but at least we know the feeling we want to have around that. So in Simone's case, for example, when Simone mentioned she would like to do her own website and she doesn't want to rely on the freelancers who may not know her business as well, and she's happy to do it herself. So the long-term benefit and the feeling she wants to feel, I guess, Simone, correct me if I'm wrong, is that she wants to be free to do it at whatever time she wants to. She will feel, yes, more independent with that, but at the same time, maybe more effective, because she knows her business best. So she doesn't have to, consult it with someone. She will just change it straight away. And then, let's say Simone's investment in a website or a course where they teach her about website makes more sense long term. And Simone is saying she would feel empowered. Exactly, that's a beautiful word, Simone. So when I was investing in my 21-day challenge, um, I didn't know exactly what it is to be like teacher entrepreneur, because I never was like, I had never been one at that time or by then. But I knew I wanted to have freedom to choose who I want to work with, the freedom to create my own curriculum, the freedom to run those sessions as I wanted without being supervised and somebody else telling me you didn't do it in the right way or you didn't follow the book in the right way. The freedom to travel. So I didn't want to be just like, I didn't want to stick just to the physical schools. I wanted to have the freedom to travel, or even the freedom to teach at whatever time I wanted. So I already was assuming the feeling I would feel if that thing I invested in happened, like the final outcome of that investment. So it was a very good point, Katrin, what you mentioned. It's about long term vision and the bigger why behind it. So maybe I would like to ask you, Katrin, what is the long term vision for you to be a teacher entrepreneur, to choose your own niche and to create programs for them? What is it for you? I would love to hear that. And Joanne is saying finding a community of like-minded people. Yes, so that's golden piece of advice here, Joanne. When you are improving a skill, so right now, for example, what I'm investing in, I'm becoming a mental fitness coach, and that's why I'm working with a coach who actually invented this positive intelligence. His name is Shirzad Chamin, and I'm working with him and with his team of coaches and people, and I'm learning from them how to become a mental fitness coach. And there are maybe 800 people, like-minded coaches, that learn these skills alongside with me as well. Like we all learned it together. And it's just beautiful how we are just inspiring each other, learning from each other. So it is much easier for me to grow in this area as a mental fitness coach when I know there is another coach who is doing the same thing or similar thing. Maybe they have a different niche they serve, but we use the same skills or similar skills. And it's just beautiful and much easier to have this to like make this investment and just to keep continuing, right? Because the community of like-minded people, as Joanne mentioned, they hold you accountable to what you committed to invest, committed to investing, right? Whatever skills you invest in. So Julie is saying, my dad has helped me understand the profession and academic writing much better. I'd like to focus more on the business side of education now. Okay, the business side of education now. That's that. I know, Julie, from what I remember, because we had sessions before, you worked on it for some time, right? It took a few years. I may be wrong, but that's what I remember. So you must have been really inspired by the final outcome of this because you did put a lot of energy and focus into this. And what I wanted to mention as well is that yes, when we are investing, it's not just about investing money. So it's about investing your energy and time. And for that, you need to know if whatever you are investing in is worth your time, energy, and money then. Because it's not all about the money, just you can have the money available to invest in something, but if you don't have time to invest in it, or if you don't even feel you want to invest in it, then it's not worth the investment. Or then it may be sometimes the other way around, like I do have the time, I do have the energy, but I don't have the money to invest. And in this case, I always ask myself when I think this way, but what is the cost of inaction? So, what is the cost of me not investing in this? And this is what I ask myself when I was working for public and private language schools before I invested in my entrepreneurial skills because I didn't have the money. So the 21-day challenge, that was I had the money for that, but then I joined another program after the 21-day challenge and I had to borrow the money from my sister. But I knew, okay, I had the time, I had the energy, I didn't have the money, but I knew if I didn't take action and continued after the 21-day challenge and be surrounded by those other teachers who are learning how to be entrepreneurs, I know I would have gone back to square one to teach at public schools and private schools at $15 per hour for another, I don't know, few years or maybe decades of my life. And I knew like, okay, I don't have the money available, but maybe my sister can just let me and I will tell her I will send it back to her as soon as I get the money. And I got the money within 6 weeks after I invested because I got the students at a triple rate. And I know this is a leap of faith. It doesn't always go. So this was maybe, it was easier for me to see how this investment was kind of justified. Sometimes we can't see it that quickly, but we sometimes need to have this leap of faith that I do have faith that if I invest in this, I will grow myself to such a level that I will get valued for my skills. So that's how I tripled my hourly rate. And then I was pretty much, and I would say it's stuck at $50 to $70 per hour as a teacher entrepreneur already, not as a general English teacher. And a lot of teachers around me were already earning $100 per hour and more. And I remember in that community, Simon was there as well. And Simon was already charging $100, I think, at that time. I still wasn't. And it was just like, like a good kind of challenge from other teachers. Like we were holding each other accountable, like how we can get to that stage to charge $100 per hour and even make more impact with what we do. And I just couldn't somehow. I didn't have trust. And I didn't trust myself that I trust myself that there is potential in me that can help clients or my students, the psychologists at that time, get the results they wanted. So I did have trust in my potential, a lot of trust, but I felt like I never paid anyone that much money per hour. So how can I expect somebody else will pay that money to me? Like I felt like, okay, I want my students to invest in me. And I knew I had the potential, but I never made that investment myself. So then I asked, like, what would need to happen for me to have the students invest in me? And then the answer was, Steph, you need to invest in someone the same money or even more. And then you can get the same investment in yourself from somebody else, right? And then what I decided to do at that time, I invested about $10,000, which was 8,000 euros at that time, into a coach. So this was the whole money, like the money I had saved over years as a teacher and whatever part-time jobs I had. That was my money. And I took it all out. I remember one day it was around the Christmas time, and I invested this 8,000 in full into my coach. And that coach was supposed to teach me about my mindset, about my brain, like how can I use my brain in an effective way, and how can I grow my skills and show these skills to others, and they are willing to pay for what I do. We worked together for 9 months with that coach, and already after 3 months, I no, actually, it was even less than 3 months. I did charge $100 per hour and more. And that was for me like a huge surprise. But at the same time, it was kind of, how to say, it was like this, not approval, but confirmation of something I believed in, that if you invest in yourself, people will invest in you. So because I invested this 8,000 euros, I got a payment from one of my students who paid upfront for 16 sessions, and he paid 2,000 euros. So that was over 100. I don't know if you do the maths, it was a little bit over. So that's what I received. And I never received in my bank account 2,000 like in full, never before. And that only happened because I was ready to invest and to trust that I will develop my skills. So I just wanted to say this to you as well. Like, it's important, if you want people to invest in you, you need to be ready to invest in yourself. I'm not saying invest 8,000 or 10,000, but invest the money you want others to invest in you. Okay, so Katrin is saying, I'll be brave and say, okay, L&D company. So that's what you want to have. This is great. This is great, Katrin. So the 21-day challenge is going to help you with that. It's going to be the first step, the foundation, not with all of that, but it's going to be the beginning of your journey. So I'm happy, Katrin, of this investment. And Simone is saying the big vision is to be able to reach even more international doctors. This is much week, the culmination of a whole year's work with 50 doctors. Wow. I remember, Simone, like you have certain times and periods of the year when you are busier, when you have this matchmaking, okay, match week. So I guess in this time, you invest even more time and energy in your students and focus. So you need to be even more taken care of. So I don't know what is your routine before this big week or big period. How much time or how much energy or how much kind of self-care do you get yourself, Simone, before you do this for others? So that's very important as well. And that's what I realized only after that. Like when I started charging more, I felt like, okay, how can I justify charging more if there are still teachers who teach the same psychologies for maybe $20 or $30 or 40 maybe dollars. So the way I justified it, like now I specialized. I don't just teach them English. I teach them skills so that they become better communicators in their therapy sessions in English. So that's one thing. Another one, I made sure, not always like 100% kind of it was working, but I did my best before each session to be in the best possible energy. So to be very present, grounded, and ready to spot whatever they needed, like in between lies, even if we had like agenda set for the session, let's say, when you are in this like very present, grounded state, sometimes you need to even ditch the whole agenda and do something else what the client needs even more. Or you can even improve the agenda on the go because you are so present. And I knew that because I am paid more, I can afford to invest more in my massages, in whatever facial treatments, what helps me be relaxed, first of all. And then I can be in this beautiful energy with my clients, which before, what happened when I was at the public school or even private school, and I was charging about $15 per hour, for me to even pay for the bills living in London, in the UK, I had to skip my lunch. So I was literally working without a break. There was just a bio break in between from 9 till 5 or 5:15 or something. And I had like maybe 10 minutes for my lunch. So I just had a sandwich or something. I didn't have time to sit down and have proper lunch. So imagine like when I was teaching 8 hours actually in that time, like where was my energy? Where was my self-care? I couldn't be in my best present. Like I did my best to be in a good energy in those sessions and help those clients and give them great feedback and everything. But I was kind of compromising. I was doing it at the expense of my well-being. I didn't have time to even go out and breathe in like fresh air. Then when I was charging more, it's not that I just had more time to, breathe in fresh air like from the outside. I had time to go for a proper walk or even to have a conscious meal. Just that. Forget about massages that was like even extra luxurious, or have a proper bath or just do something else. So it really helps. And I wonder, Simon, how you are investing in yourself. Okay, so Simon is saying one investment was that trip to New York City to get real face time with his doctors. Now I'm well known and trusted. Not a cheap trip, but well worth it. I remember the pictures from that trip, Simon, and how you were interviewing them and how you were just having these conversations. Yes, that was a beautiful investment. But what is very important here, Simon, I remember half of that trip, I don't know if it was half or maybe 30 or 40%, was time for yourself, and just to have time to yourself and getting to know yourself in New York and just to recharge. And that's very important, to give yourself this time, to reward yourself, yes, to give yourself as well what you are giving to your students, to your clients. So, yes. And what Simon is saying, and it was a blast personally because I had never been to New York City. Exactly. I remember that, Simon. We talked about it. Um, so, Simon, not everyone has reported yet, but so far there are 16 matches. This motivates me to do even more, to be connected with Match 2026 applicants. That's amazing, Simon. How many matches have you had so far throughout these 6 years of your career? Teaching career, working with this niche. If you can just, um, if you can just let us know, I would love to know that. Judy is asking, how can we manage overwhelm in the process? That's a very good question, Julie. So, overwhelm is a very natural part of our life when we take more on our plate that we can manage, or even when we don't train our brain to be focused on the thing we are doing right now, and then kind of like deal with other things at another time. So sometimes when we try to do three activities at the same time, or we do activities but we don't really have time to take a rest, to just have, even it doesn't have to be even 1 hour, sometimes even 5 or 10 minutes in between those tasks. So our brain then feels that it's too much, and then it feels overwhelmed because there is no time to recharge, or then there are too many things to do at the same time. What helps me, Julie, and I don't know if you were here in the previous session, so I still feel overwhelmed. So even like knowing and studying about positive intelligence, how to be grounded and present, I still have a lot of days when I feel overwhelmed. But at least I know when this is happening, I can do some mental fitness exercises to be in command, to be present, to be in control of the task I have. So this mental fitness exercises is when you focus your primary attention on a physical sensation. And we can practice one even now. Julie, if you are still here, and everybody else, this is like a revision of the previous sessions I have been doing with you for 2 or 3 months about the mental fitness. So one of them is, for example, Julie, the visual, we call it pick your rep, when you kind of focus for 1 or 2 minutes on a visual object. There are at least 10 types of pick, well, there are many types of pick your reps. We spoke about 10 in the previous session. But now, right now, we can focus. Like, imagine you're overwhelmed. Like, you have to, I don't know, send an email, you have to complete a report or something, you have to have a session, then you have to have your lunch, then you have to have something else. Like, you have at least 6, 7 things you need to do. So, for you to get present and see what is the priority, what is the first thing you need to do in this moment, Is it to have lunch or send the email? And then, to decide even, you start breathing to bring focus to your body, to physical sensation. So you breathe in and breathe out. That's how you start. And the visual exercise would be to choose an object you want to focus on. So in my case, I'm going to focus on this what do you call it, like a picture or image, whatever it is, behind me, okay? Because I can see it in front of me now. I'm going to focus on it without judging it, without analyzing it, without thinking too much about anything, just being present with those colors I can see. There is kind of like I don't know, it's like green or like khaki color or whatever you call it, like green color, and there is the pink and white. So I observe the color, the patterns. There are circles, there are some kind of bent lines, I think. There are numbers. Just observe it. And this way, your mind is not anywhere else, it's just on that object that you decided to get curious about, to be present with. And then when you become grounded and present, you decide, what is my priority right now? What can I do now? Okay, email. I finished the email, then I'm going to have my lunch. So every time you can bring your mind back to your kind of physical sensation, to your body, and then you are present. And when you're present, you cannot be overwhelmed. Because when you are present, you are just doing one thing. You are present with that one thing. And yes. So Julie, let me know if this helps. This is just a quick one that really helps with overwhelm. But I love, for example, myself to set priorities. I always have 3 to 5 priorities. So anything between that. I don't usually have like big 5 priorities for the week, but I know if I do these 5 things, I'm going to move forward a lot. It's not just a tiny progress, like small progress. It's huge progress if I just do these 5 things for sure this week. Then everything else, if I have time, and usually I end up doing more things, but I have this kind of priority for my brain. So our brain wants priorities. And then when you do those priorities, you do them one at a time. Of course, sometimes we can be listening to podcasts and walking. That's a different thing, or cooking and listening to podcasts, or even listening to some training. But sometimes we can just do one thing at a time, because then we don't do either of those things properly. And the exercise we did, the visual PQ rep, helps you get grounded and present and see clearly what is the priority for me right now that will make the most impact on my personal and professional life. Okay, so Julie, I'm very happy it was helpful. And if this was helpful, just rewatch the recording from the previous session where you have a variety of these mental fitness exercises. This is just one of them. And the good thing is you don't have to take much time to get grounded and present. So that's what I follow myself when I get overwhelmed, just to answer your question. Um, Joanne is saying improvements in technology have been key for teacher entrepreneurs. Yes, definitely. So I know Katrin is doing the 21-day challenge. We've got a lot of help with implementing or like incorporating ChatGPT in your everyday life. And I'm not saying you should trust ChatGPT to do everything for you and you don't have to use your brain. That's not a good idea. That's never a good idea. But how can you use ChatGPT and other AI tools or technology to make your life easier and more effective so that you can teach with the same or even bigger, greater impact, but then you can have time for yourself. And I remember myself, at that time, I was a huge perfectionist, one of the saboteurs, 4 or 5 years ago, when it took me, and I'm not even joking right now, it took me 3 hours to create a carousel on Canva. It took me at least 3 hours to create a 30-second video and then editing on top of it and adding captions, subtitles, and then make a post on LinkedIn. It was like literally 10 hours or something altogether. It was a 30-second video. And now I want to give you the difference because of technology. And you have to learn as well what technology you have to invest in. It's good to invest in because it's going to be good return on investment. And for me, it was Canva And there is one which is called Opus AI, which is an AI video editing tool that helps you split the big video into small chunks, like 1 minute videos or 1 or 2 minute long videos, and even adds the subtitles for you and even remove some of the fillers. So it looks very kind of natural and is done for you. So I remember I took 1 hour to record an interview with one teacher. Then I took 1 hour to just put this, interview in this AI tool, video editing tool, to split it in smaller videos. And I think I got about 30 videos out of it that were able to be used, were possible to be used. So that was another hour. So 2 hours so far. And the third hour I spent to make small description to each video. Okay, it was just 2 or 3 sentences description. It was not long. And I scheduled it on LinkedIn. You can schedule it for later. So I scheduled it for 2 months. So now the videos you can see from me, I scheduled back in February. And altogether, it took me about 3 or 4 hours to schedule my post for 2 months. Before, I took about up to 10 hours, let's say 5 to 10 hours, to prepare one 30-minute, 30-second video. You can still see it on my LinkedIn. It's the first video I made ever on LinkedIn. And it took me that much time. So I didn't invest my time wisely back then, but I didn't know better. There were not these tools, and I was a stickler. I wanted it to be perfect. It doesn't really matter now. I know it, but back then I didn't know. So sometimes when we don't invest our time and focus, or like time and energy in the right way, in an effective way, we can get overwhelmed there as well and discouraged. And then we may not have time for the things that really matter. So the things that really mattered for me back then was to teach my clients with the best possible energy to bring them results. And I spent 5 to 10 hours on creating a 30-second video where I just said hi, pretty much, and like who I was. Okay, so I just wanted to make this clear. How sometimes we can invest time, not in a very smart way. So Joanne, yes, technology have been key for teacher entrepreneurs. And Simone, wow, I just want to really give a round of applause, everybody, to Simone. Simone have helped matched 200 international doctors to the hospitals or places, practices where they are serving patients right now. So thanks to Simone's expertise, patients can benefit from 200 fresh, committed doctors in the US. It's amazing, Simone. And we are celebrating with you. Look at your impact, Simone. And yes, that's because you invested a lot of your time in your mindset and in improving your financial situation, in your well being, and in your skills, Simone, as a teacher entrepreneur. So I'm so happy for you. Joanne, the question, what is the video editing app called Opus AI? Let me just share this with you, Joanne. So I just gave an example. I love this tool, but yes, there are many other amazing tools. But I'm just going to share it with you, Joanne. I'm just looking for the link right now. And please, if there are any questions, just let me know. And I would be very happy to answer them. Or even if you have any ideas for topics you would like to discuss in the future sessions, that would be really good too. Okay, so I will just share this, Joanne. Let me know if this works, please. But it's called Opus Clip. Click on it and see where it takes you. Because I use my son in detail, so I don't know. It should show you at least their website. I like this. Again, I use most of my videos you can see on LinkedIn are actually coming from there, and it does the job for you, so I don't have to edit anything. But again, back then when I was starting as a teacher entrepreneur, I was investing in a video editor. It ended up quite expensive, but it was about $40 per video, which at that time I felt like it was a good investment. At least for some videos, I really wanted them to be edited in a professional way. But now I found other more affordable ways where potentially you invest 100 or um, I don't know how much it was, or 150 per year, and you can make more videos. So yes, our project has expired. Okay, so I don't think I shared the right link, but it's Opus AI. So Joanne, if you just put Opus AI, it should be working. I'm trying to get there, but it just gets me to my account. I don't know how to get there on Google. Try to type it in and see where it takes you. Yeah, I think now I don't know. Try now. I don't know if this will work. Maybe this is too long. Okay, Simon. Yes, you've been part of that journey. Thank you. I'm very happy I could have been part of that journey. And you know when like we all need this kind of encouragement to see like how people around us are doing, and when we see that people we are part, like the community we are part of is doing well, you are more inspired to do even better. So that's what Joanne mentioned before, like it's so important to have this community of like-minded people where we support each other and we are happy for each other, like happy about each other's successes. um okay, I hope this is going to work, Joanne. But yeah, so that's what I'm using. Now, what I want to do as well, so if you don't have any questions, I would like to share my screen and show you the other events we have, which are free events at Bowie, that you can attend and benefit from. So one is my mindset sessions, teacher mindset matters. It's every other Wednesday. So another one is 2 weeks from now. But every other Wednesday, I release my podcast episode as well. So there is one coming next Wednesday too. So every Wednesday you get something from me, but it's alternating. 1 week is live session and 1 week is podcast. So I will be happy to see you again there. And then we've got Get Students with Red Note. So for those of you who would like to contact students or find students through Red Note, which is also known as Xiang Shokshu, I don't know if my pronunciation is right, Little Red Book, which is used in China and there in that area. So then you could register for free and learn how to do that. So Katie and James will help you with that. And then we are going to have a membership webinar. So the the, the kind of like title for this is Work Less and Earn More with Memberships. And this is exactly like the topic we spoke about the investment. So how can I invest the same time or even energy of mine, but make more money, make more impact, and have more freedom? And that's exactly membership about. I know Simone has a membership, right? So I don't know what your experience is so far, Simone. Of course, at the beginning, it's a learning curve and everything takes actually longer time, more energy. But when you have systems in place and when you have regular students like being or signing up for your membership and staying there, it's the like sure money for you. You've got like stable money every month pretty much, and then you can make even more impact because if you have just one-on-one sessions, you can impact one person's life, and of course then they impact other people's lives, those students. But if you have a membership, you can serve, let's say, 10, 20, 30, 100 students at the same time with your services, and so your impact is multiplied, your money is stable, and you invest pretty much the same time, or maybe sometimes more time, a little bit more, but still it's much more effective. So that's a good topic as well to continue or to follow up on this investment, the power of investment membership webinar. So please register if you are interested in this. I'm going to share it with you right now, and you can just come there. We will help you in whatever way we can. Okay, so Simone is saying membership is challenging but bigger reach. Yes. So of course, with everything there are challenges. So with membership as well, there are challenges. But in my eyes, I mean, if I compare it, like even at Bowie, where we help teachers, of course, with one-on-one clients, there were other challenges, but maybe it was easier to handle one client at a time than handling now. We have about 200 people in the Teacher Academy, which is our membership program for teachers who would like to become teacher entrepreneurs. And there are other challenges, yes, connected to that. But I feel like it's better investment of our time and energy and skills, and we can make much more impact on more teachers. Because as one-on-one client, I remember we had about 30 or 40 at a time, which is good. It was still impressive. But now, we can help about 200 teachers. So I felt like investment-wise, it's easier and better. But yes, there are challenges with everything. Okay, good. So I hope you have enjoyed this session today, which was about the power of teacher investment, where you can invest in your well-being, in your mindset, in your skills, so that you can inspire your students, so that you can grow more sustainably, and you can have an enjoyable life. Um, Let me know what topics you would like to speak about in the future sessions, and I'll prepare for those topics. If not, I will just choose whatever I feel is needed right now by teachers. And just, yes, Joanne, just to read your comment, membership can reach students who can't afford the 100 per hour. Exactly, Joanne. So even me as a teacher entrepreneur, I didn't have many clients because when I was charging this high, then $70 and then $100, there were people who were interested, but not everyone. So I know if I had charged, let's say $40 or $50 per month, where they would have group sessions and other digital programs they could go through at their own pace, they would have been more likely to invest than $100 per hour. So you're right. It's even more inclusive in some way. Of course, you help at a different level in one-on-one and in a membership where you serve many at the same time. One-on-one is your attention on just one person, but then you can give chance to everyone. And many students actually get the same like results or even similar progress by just following the training by themselves and get like group support. They don't even need one-on-one support. Saying that, I always believe like one-on-one support is better to some extent, but I like what you mentioned, Joanne. So yes, then even students are more likely to invest. You're thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here, everybody who came here today. And I will see you again in 2 weeks. Wishing you good luck and invest wisely and enjoy investing in yourself because you deserve it. Okay, I appreciate you all. Have a good day. Bye. Bye bye.